you know, I've been here many times and hope to be here many more times. I think most of you understand the role and responsibility of what ISD is. We're regulators and enforcers for the city. It's our responsibility to enforce the building code, the zoning code, and the sanitary. So just about anything you walk in, over, around, or under, we have something to do with, and animal care. So we get to touch an awful lot of parts of the neighborhood as things happen and as things develop. You know, as per Mayor Walsh's edict to us all is that, you know, we hope to be very transparent, very available. I will leave piles of my business cards here. You can call me directly if you like. Always call me on my cell phone because they will not let me answer my office. But I am responsive. We're here to do a lot of things. You know, trash issues, rodent issues. These are all things that are real and they're across the city. But if you see something and you know about it, you know, the first line, as Maria had said, is 311. That has proved to be an unbelievably effective tool to get your information in. You know, it's formerly the mayor's hotline, but if you either use the app, the phone, or the website, that information is disseminated out to the appropriate department within the city, not just ISD, but all departments. And you should expect a phone call in return within 24 hours, at least addressing the fact that they've got your issue in front of them and who is going to be looking at it. At ISD, it's a mandate that you get a phone call in 24 hours from whoever you call. And we do monitor that so that if you don't get the phone call in 24 hours, call me. And then I will make that phone call to the person that's supposed to return your call, or I will handle the issue myself. We're involved in many facets of what takes place in the city. In addition to the enforcement of all the building codes and you know, the life safety issues throughout the city, we do get involved in policy. We get involved in trying to create new initiatives, so we're always looking for new ideas to deal with things. Dog parks and the whole issue of animals in the city is very important to us. And, you know, the division of Amanda Kennedy is the director of that division. We have a shelters over in West Roxbury, Roslyn. And how to get there, where it is. And so, you know, if you have abandoned animals and things like that, please let us know. We'll come and pick them up. We do have a spade and neutering clinics that we travel throughout the city. We can get you the addresses for that so that vaccinations and things can take place in your neighborhood. But overall, the idea is to keep a line of communication open with all the constituents so that we know what's going on. We have the approval permitting process that lives at ISD. We work very closely with the BPDA on all issues that come out. So if there's a question about a project or a question about anything, the best thing you can do is call us. All of the information that's given to us is public information, so anything that comes across my desk is available to you. We'll do everything we can to make it an easy transition so that you can get the information that you need. And at the same time, we try to give you as much information about the projects as we possibly can. But tonight I'm really here to talk more, to listen more to questions or concerns. Ms. Kintyre is with me. She's the Assistant Commissioner for Planning and Zoning, as well as the Director of Policy. So we're just trying to make ourselves available so that, you know, we can answer your questions. Some of the questions we get are off the wall, but a lot of times if we don't have the answer, we'll be able to direct you to the right department or actually make the contact to the other department for you. So are there any questions or comments? Criticisms are welcome. Yes.
I have a compliment and also a question. So the compliment, and I sent it into 311 today, was I was walking behind the trash guys. They were actually cleaning up the trash that had been strewn all over the street. So I sent that in. I hope somebody gets that to their supervisor. I compliment it. The question I have, I live on Endicott Street. There's a ton of stuff going on Endicott Street between construction and new traffic patterns and everything else, and rats. And I have a question. I've called in about a number of times, probably a dozen times, once a week, about rats and a bunch of other things. What process is in place if either the response that comes back is completely off the wall and doesn't make sense to me, or I don't get any response at all.
Well, you should call me. Like I say, I'll leave my number here. No
You're in
answer.
trouble
I'll
now.
Totally. No.
Okay, all right, okay. I'll only call when it escalates, but,
A lot of times, just call me because I can transfer it to the right person.
Okay,
And, then it becomes accountable. I'm aware of it.
okay,
It's on my
terrific,
to-do list, and I will follow up on it.
terrific.
No response is totally unacceptable. Totally. So and the only way I can correct that is by knowing about it.
Okay,
So
terrific.
please, feel free to do that. If you don't understand the question, the answer that's given to you, please feel free to push the issue. A lot of times, especially in the building trades, we talk in a language.
No,
that's
this
a
was
little
like-
bizarre.
They said my house was a construction zone, which my kids might say it is, but outside it doesn't look like it is.
All right, that's fair enough, but just
They
feel
were
free
off
to-
by a couple blocks. Okay.
Free to call.
All right,
The other
thank
thing,
you.
too, I do want to mention is off-hours work. Contractors are allowed to work from 7 in the morning to 6 at night. Beyond that, they have to require a special off-hours permit that includes weekends and city-recognized holidays. So in the event somebody is working, you have the right to walk up to them and ask them to see a weekend permit. If they can't produce that, then, the first thing you do is call us. You can also call the police. The police will come and stop the project. But it's, the police are busy. We're less busy than the police. So to do that, it's a $300 a day fine to be doing that. And if it's a repeat offender, we will actually take the permit away from them and make them reapply for the whole process. There are cases where I will allow work to go on in off hours. If there's something critical to the project, if something is going on in the project that we feel it's better to do it on a business day approach, we're going to allow them to do it. But you can always call us and we'll let you know whether they have the permit or not. Yes?
So what, she mentioned the rat problem, obviously, which is probably a hot topic today. But what if the problem is, there's a response to the problem on 311, or ISD goes down to the site and responds, but it's not fixed after? In particular,
Rats are interesting. It's very ineffective for one person to abate their house.
okay, but in particular, Joe's American Bar and Grill,
Mhm.
which has had multiple complaints for probably years now, significant complaints in the past year. And, ISD has been down there multiple times, but their dumpsters are still filthy. So just looking to see what your plan is to rectify that once and for all.
There's two parts to that. They have to have a license for a clean site because they have a dumpster on site. So we manage that and control that. What happens with ISD is we will write a violation. Violations like that don't carry a punitive penalty because we want the problem fixed. So we'll work with them to get a problem fixed, and then 2 weeks later, the problem's back. We just have to stay on top of them. If they get to the worst thing that somebody can do is ignore us. If they ignore us, then we put them on the list. They're not allowed to get any permits for anything until they fix the problem. But it's a vicious cycle about we fix it, they work with us, everybody's happy, we go away, and then they get another phone call, then it's back to what it was. It is on our list. Leo Boucher is our Assistant Commissioner for Environment, and he's very aware of it, and I know he routinely sends his staff around to double check. The unfortunate thing is they'll drive by when everything is okay, and then 2 hours later, it's bad. So again, I ask for your help to help us do it, but it is on our list to stay on top of it. If it gets to the point that it's a health safety violation, we will suspend that permit.
It is.
But it's gotta affect the restaurant, not the street.
I've seen them go into the restaurant in the back door.
If we can see it, then we can be effective on
And
it.
they're going into the vehicles that, in the parking lot where the people live. If you park next to the dumpster, they're going from the dumpster into the cars, and the people are breathing that, and they're have their species in the car, in the engine area, and then people are breathing that in.
There's a little bit of an urban legend about the way rats will eat the casings on the wires, and they will do that, and it'll really destroy your gut. It doesn't.
I'm a victim.
Yeah, it doesn't happen often, but when it does happen, it is traceable back to the organization, to the originator of the problem, and you know, we can get involved in helping with that. What does happen at that point, though, is that it becomes a civil suit, because you're suing them for damages created by their lack of response. We'll assist you in that, but we're not lawyers, so.
No, I mean, I'm not trying to sue them, I just would like the dumpster.
Well, sometimes when we deal with some of these bigger companies, when it becomes monetary, it's amazing how much more response we get. And we will do that. And we'll go as far as we can with it. The civil court actions, they're not fast processes. And, you know, like everybody else, they've got a backlog, so it takes a while for us to get there, but we don't let go of it. So if there is an issue with that, you've really got to report every one of them. A picture of a wreck on it to a cop, sent it to 311 goes a long way at getting a response. There'll be 3 different organizations that'll deal with that. ISD will be one of them. Public Works will be another, and then Code Enforcement under Public Works will be a third one that will act on it. The Code Enforcement can issue what's called the green tickets. They're environmental tickets that are punitive. And if we get enough of those, then we can take more action against them.
Okay, I know there's been a lot,
Is there-
and photos and all that, so.
So you said that you do respond to them, and then if they fix it, if you get another complaint, you go back. Is there, after you do that for us, is there a set period of time where you have to do that, then you revoke, or is it they can just keep doing this perpetually until?
In some cases, unfortunately, it does become potential because there really is nothing in the statute. You got to stay clean for 20 days. You know, you should stay clean, period. And when they don't stay clean, then we issue the violation. They have 2 actions when we issue a violation. One, fix the problem, and then the violation is resolved. Or in some cases, we've actually had people come in and appeal the violation, saying it wasn't them. But most of the time, once we do that, they do react to us. But there's no mechanisms in place beyond your vigilance to say, it's happening again, it's happening again. And that's the thing about 311 that I really like, is it's easy to make a report. I mean, literally, take a picture in the app, send it, you don't have to put anything else there. If you want to be followed up on it, you can give the information, fill out the name, you'll get a case number, and you'll be able to find out what happens. If you want to do it totally autonomously, just send the picture. It geocodes it for its location, and it timestamps it. And it still goes through the exact same process. In some cases, we get complaints that are not necessarily true, but we still come out to deal with it. So any complaint that's put at ISD has to be inspected.
And to the point that was raised earlier about, you know, either coming back closed when it's not closed, or something like that, you would suggest maybe report it again, and call you?
Well, you know, I think at that point, if something is closed and it doesn't explain it, it's unfortunate. It has to do with some of the ways the program operates. But if something is closed and you don't think it's right, please call me.
Okay.
And then we'll get the right person to make sure that it gets resolved.
I have a quick question. So I live on Thatcher Street, and late March, they removed a couple of trees off our street. They never filled the holes, and it's just been empty, and it's kind of a little bit tricky to ask now, so do they follow?
Okay, I'll follow up on that for you.
Yeah, right on Thatcher Street, across from
Yes,
Jesus.
that's the street trees program.
Yeah.
And I can look at them, I'll leave these here if anybody would like them. But that's Public Works. So we'll make sure that we carry that message over. So do me a favor, just email me or text me the address and I'll make sure that it's followed.
Thank you.
Has there ever been a conversation or consideration of the statute you mentioned where they complain gets fixed, issuing a certificate of owner? I mean, that's like fool's errand. Is there ever been discussions of having that statute adjusted so that there's actually teeth? Because a company like Joe's or Starbucks or whatever needs to drop the bucket. They can do this, you know, to the cow food. I mean, so I'm wondering, to what end is that serving a purpose when they can keep on having the same individual problems, pay the same $40 fine, and it just keeps on going on?
Well, there's not even a fine, it's just they get fixed. The green tickets, they get fines. But for us, it's, the way the violation is written is to resolve the issue. No, right now, there is nothing in the statute that makes that happen. We are putting in some policies, and, you know, it's like everything in government, we've got to take each one apart and pull it apart. Like, after hours work, do it 3 times, and we revoke your permit. So we're working on trying to get this, something like that. Our goal is not to be, you know, the disruption of business, but our goal is to make the thing right. Sometimes Leo goes out, there's a program that we have called Block to Block, where we teach people how to deal with trash, recycling and stuff like that. It's unbelievable the difference that really makes in the process. We'll step it up. I'll make sure that, I was not aware of this before today. Maria did send me an email this morning saying that about this issue. So I'll look at this and I'll get back to Maria, let you know what we're going to try to do.
I mean, you mentioned disrupting business is not the goal, but sometimes you have to disrupt business to get their attention, right?
Yes.
So maybe that's something to think about. And maybe Michael and Gabriella, maybe something that Lydia looks at, as far as, maybe sponsoring some kind of changes to legislation or statute. Because this is, as Ashley mentioned, this has been a problem for a while. Something to think about.
We'd very happily work with the council on because the most expeditious way of doing it is a city ordinance, as opposed to actually changing the statute, because that then becomes a whole new petition and it's go to the state house. I like ordinances.
Can I have a question? As a resident, if you comment on warden activity, what are the services or is it consultations that your team provides to that resident? If they call and say, I see a lot of warden activity on my street.
The environmental department are responsible for public ways. Technically, we're not supposed to go onto private property to abate. We have, and I will continue to do it in specific cases. Particularly absentee landlords. We don't understand why the tenant should suffer because the landlord isn't doing their job. And we will go onto the site to abate. What we do is we have a program that there's only 4 people that do it, so it takes a while to go across the city. This block-to-block program. In areas where there's really concentrations of rats, the best thing that we can do is organize collecting. So as I was saying earlier, you do your house and I live next door. All right, in 2 weeks, your house is going to be back to what it is. So we try to do blocks. We are responsible. We bathe all the sewers, all the public alleys. You usually don't see our staff because they're usually out at like 4 o'clock in the morning. It's not a pleasant sight to watch what's going on. If in the event you ever see multiple groups of rats in daylight, call me directly. That means something has happened. I know more about rats than I other would. There are 3 things to their life: food, water, and a place to hang out. Water's not a problem. Finding a place to hang out is a problem. And the abundance of food is available. That's where they go. We've gone to some very high-end areas in our city that you go in the back of the area and they're not being taken care of. They're not cleaning their dumpsters. People, a rat can get through a hole the size of water. And a mouse can get through a hole the size of a dime. If you see mice in your house, in some ways that's a blessing because that means there's not rats. They don't coexist together. But tightening up your foundation, really a very important thing. Using the barrels, those black plastic bags are the worst things I've ever seen. Because I can't tell you how many times I'm sure you've seen it come out of the house, they drop the plastic bag and walk away. Rats are burrowers. That plastic bag is like a plate for their dinner. So using the barrels with the covers is really, really important. Bird feeders. Everybody loves birds. But as soon as you put them out, the seeds will hit the ground, and it's delicacy. So part of it is just really good maintenance. If you want, we can organize to try to accelerate Leo to get his team over here, so he can come and sit and talk to you about some of the tricks and techniques that we use to do it.
I would love to put trash in the bin. I don't think that we have those capabilities in the north end, but it certainly would be more effective. I don't know if there's an answer to that. I mean, I know there's no room in my building. I can't speak for other folks here, but has there been discussions about doing some sort of new trash collection? This isn't really
not that I'm aware of. Part of the problem is the homeowner of a building is responsible to clean their trash. Commercial people are responsible to have private vendors pick up their stuff. The posting of when it's supposed to go out and all of that is really well controlled. In buildings of more than 3 units, the landlord is responsible for the trash totally. Short of that, the occupants are responsible to manage their trash. So it's, you know.
It seems like solving one of the problems would solve the other, you know, because if there's less trash or there's less stuff out there, then there's less rats. But, yes. Can we just state our name and our address, our vote?
Andrew Brown, Sound Street. There used to be 3 days for trash collection, and you thought of bringing back that 3rd day.
I don't schedule that. I know that we work with Public Works when we do our block-to-block programs. Sometimes that'll change the schedule because people treat their trash differently. One of the most successful, most recent ones was Chinatown. And it used to be 3 trash pickups a week and 1 recycler. After we implemented the program takes a month to do because we really try to break it down to block by block. So they'll walk the streets, they'll see where the problems are, try to address them. After we did that in Chinatown, we went to 2 trash and 2 recycling. And that really makes a big difference in the city.
Well, we do that here. In fact, I think we're similar, or identical to Beacon Hill, with Monday, Friday pickup, and both days are trash and recycling, but I don't see the same issues there as I do here, so I don't know what the difference is in terms of.
I don't know
I know
that
that's not
the
really
issue, no,
why
I don't
you're
know that
saying.
the issues aren't the same. There are rat problems on Beacon Hill. There are trash problems on Beacon Hill. There is no neighborhood in our entire city that's exempt from this. You know, we have a congested city. We have a lot of construction and things that are disturbing. We have water pipes and things on highways. We had a housing project that had a severe problem with their trash. And it's really a lot of supervision and maintenance on it. We can provide the information about the methods and the techniques, but it really does take individuals to do it. If we see somebody that, again, is habitually doing this, we can bring out code enforcement, really start finding them. And usually we get more results once that's done.
Yeah, I think we have just a few more questions, then we'll let it go, so we have 2 or 3 more.
So, thank you for coming. I mean, I've seen you here a few times. The question is, I think it's an easy resolution, but it probably isn't because it's not happening. Why are people putting out garbage at 5, 6 o'clock at night and expanding the feeding time for rats from 6 p.m. to residential pickup is at 8, 9 a.m. sometimes. So I'm a business owner, so we get our garbage picked up 1 a.m., 2 a.m. in containers, barrels. What would it take to change it that you have to put your garbage out no earlier than 6 a.m. that day of pickup? I mean, what is holding back from us giving all these people that are picking through the garbage and picking through the recycling, and I see it, and they're tearing bags open, and it's just terrible to wake up. Honestly, I think 2 days of pickup is better than 3 because that's a less day of us looking at the filth in this neighborhood. But what is keeping the city or a neighborhood from saying, you know what, your garbage cannot go out any earlier than 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. day of pickup?
I know that this has been discussed a great deal. And yeah, we would like it to take your garbage out when you hear the truck coming down the street. That would be the idea, but it's not practical for a lot of people. So anytime we put in these ordinances, we try to look at what the balance is. Putting it out at noon the day before, that'll get you a fine. But after 6 o'clock on the day before seems to work.
Doesn't work.
Yeah, that's the point, it's not working.
That's
It's working
rats
for
eat
people.
at night, right?
But it's not working for rats.
So, wait, can I not?
The rats come out after.
When we did the trash cycle question like this, so after our last contract, which is coming up again, this is all public works too, so, it has to do with the commission kind of, but not really, different department. But the issue is, we did bring up just morning put out, and it became an issue of who works overnight and who's not home to take out their trash in the morning and who wouldn't be there. So like, as much as it seems so easy to us, and some people, they do just put out their trash, and we encourage people to put it out in the morning, it's not feasible for every single person to say that you can only put it out from 7 to 9 AM.
Is it
And that's what we
feasible?
got, that's the feedback that we got the last time.
And what percentage of people is it feasible for as opposed to not feasible for?
Well, we heard 50-50 from both, so it wasn't something to, I mean, we could look into it again.
I mean, I
And
find
I
it
could
hard to
tell-
believe that if you have like I mean, people are getting up for work early, so
Yeah.
if it's 6 AM or 5 AM, I mean, I don't see why it's something that can't be tried,
Again,
you
that's,
know?
like, I mean, I agree, it does
We can bring it
affect,
to the table in public work.
yeah.
I don't wanna take all the.
And I'm a landlord, if I have an elderly tenant who can't take their garbage down, or someone who's, I'll do it for them, I'll get it done.
You're a responsible person, I wish everybody was that responsible. In some cases, it's just not the case, and we do hear it from both sides.
We've expanded feeding times, time for these guys to stick their sticks in.
That's, perhaps that's something when the contract expires in July of next year, you know, before those discussions, we, you know, maybe not 6 AM, but maybe it's 7 at night, 8 at night. I mean, even 3 hours is better than now, you know, and I do understand.
It's open for discussion.
Yeah.
You know, it's, you have. I understand, but I mean, even midnight, I mean, I think you could discuss possible times to bring in both groups, because it is hard for folks, you know, your hospital worker or someone else to get out there and do it, so certainly. But maybe like one more question from the audience for the commissioner while he's here, if anyone has.
Don't feel pressured.
You gonna leave business cards, buddy?
I did, I left them.
Yeah, we'll have this information. All right, well, thank you again for coming.
My pleasure.